Having doubt? Need to know the cues that tell you you're on the right path? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome. Okay, here's the question.
You serious?
How are we dark horses? You know, the ones everyone is betting against, the ones they don't expect to win, place, or even show on the track, and they'll even laugh on us when we talk about trying. How do we show the world our greatness and triumph?
Come on.
Well, that's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers.
Let's go.
This is The Dark Horse Entrepreneur. My name is Tracy Brinkman.
And push it out.
What is up? What is up? What the hell is up, my Dark Horse friends and family? Welcome back to your daily dose of seeing the signs, learning. I'm your Dark Horse host, Tracy Brinkman, and you? Well, that, my friend, is infinitely more important. You are a driven entrepreneur or one in the making. Either way, you're here because you're ready to start, restart, kickstart, or just start leveling up with some great marketing, personal, or business tips and results in order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And that's why I'm here hitting you with another Daily Success episode coming to you straight from the Dark Horse HQ as we dive deep into success with some actionable advice, tips, and steps designed to help you level up your game because as we already know, there are no shortcuts to success except for taking those little steps towards your goal every single day. Now, again, before we dive into this, I hope you're getting the value from these episodes. And if you are, please go on down there, hit that subscribe button, go ahead and drop us a 5-star rating, leave us some kind words in the reviews. Heck, leave us some words of constructive criticism. Tell us topics you'd like to have us cover. Maybe a guest you'd like to see brought onto the show, because trust me, I read every one of those reviews. And those subscribes, ratings, and reviews, they tell those podcast platforms out there that you are getting some value, and they lift us up a little bit in the rankings so that we can reach more driven entrepreneurs just like yourself. So again, if you're getting that value, please take a moment, show the love, and help spread the word. And hey, if you haven't shown the love recently, go ahead and do that. And if you haven't shown it at all, be sure to go and do it, right? Okay, anyway. All right, so I'm going to chat with you a bit about having doubt and seeing those signs for success. Look, let's start off by being completely candid here, right? Every successful person has had a moment of doubt, maybe even a week, a year, a half a decade of doubt. The road to success is full of obstacles, and it's littered with hardships, right? The pots, the potholes, the trips, the falls, the bumbles, the face plants you always hear me talking about. And the question we tend to find ourselves asking ourselves, and maybe others, is, am I on the right track? I mean, imagine folks like, I don't know, was it Pemberton? Dr. Pemberton, who started Coca-Cola. Do you think he felt like an overwhelming success when they were only selling an average of 9 bottles a day or 9 servings a day? And Asa Chandler comes along and buys it up, and of course everything starts to blow up. And let's talk about Colonel Sanders while we're talking about big name brands, right? He's 62 years old when he's out there trying to sell his now infamous chicken recipe. So I can imagine the questions they were asking themselves. But I think somewhere inside they had signs that told them you're on the right path, right? And that's what we want to share with you, is those signs, those clues that you are on the right path to success in business. And I think the first and the biggest clue, and if you had this one, it almost overrides the rest of them. But if you have consistency in your game or in your relationship, then that is a big, big clue, right? If you think about the tortoise and the hare, right? The hare, he goes running, and he stops and takes a nap. And the tortoise, slow and steady, consistently driving forward, doing his thing, passes by the sleeping hare, crosses the finish line, right? It's that consistency, time after time after time, that will be I think one of the hugest clues in your arena of, are you doing the right thing? Are you on the right path? Not whether you're doing the right thing as in right or wrong, but the right thing for you? Are you on that right path? Building yourself some systems and routines that can create some predictable success is a great piece of it. Look at your habits, right? Are they positive? Do you practice them regularly? And if you have to answer both these questions, I've built systems and routines and that can help me predict some success. And I've reviewed my habits and they are positive. I think you're on the right path and you're going to see success from that path sooner or later. And for me, I think the next one as a clue is that money isn't toxic to you, right? Your relationship with cash and revenue is not a bad thing. And when you see someone, I don't know, on TV or in TMZ or in the newspapers or wherever you happen to see them buying some fancy schmancy car that, and you've seen those vehicles are out there, right? The Lamborghinis, the high-end Bugattis that are like $500,000, $1.5 million. You're like, good gosh, right? But when you see that, it's not offensive to you, right? It doesn't make you feel bothered, but instead it makes you believe that if you work hard at your, at what it is you're driving for on your path, that hardworking people like you can be rewarded with things like that. Now, if you're not into those things, well, you'll be rewarded to the things that you like. I think the key here is you have to switch that mindset from worrying about having enough money to having the faith that you will earn enough money, right? You'll become the person that's worthy of the level of money that you want, and you'll know you're on your way to success. And the next one here is connecting with the right people. And I think it's another sign of you're on the right path to success, is your ability to connect with the right people. And I'm not just talking about having millions of followers on Facebook or Instagram, I think you can liken it to, here's a good one. I can think about back in my days, I was a big fan of going out dancing on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, sometimes even Thursdays, at the nightclubs. And there was this one nightclub I really liked a lot, which was called Mississippi Moonshine in Southern California. And when we first started going there, right, it was, it would get pretty packed pretty fast. It wasn't a big place. And so what I started doing was befriending the bouncers, right? And I think you can liken this to business, because when you befriend the bouncers, you show up there, you're not going to wait in line as long. Oh, Tracy, hey, come on up. You get to go ahead and go on in while everyone else is still waiting in line for 15, 20 minutes, an hour, or whatever. I think in business, it's the same thing. Having those connections can help you jump to the front of some lines via those connections. And it could be connections of knowledge, connections of skill sets, be they technical or people skills, right? So knowing the right people, right? So hone your social skills, hone your friend gathering skills, and bring value to them so that they will this comes back to that bouncer analogy I just gave you, right? The bouncer didn't bring me up front because just because he knew him. It's because we hung out, we joked around, I brought value to him, right? I actually opened the doors for a couple of other opportunities for places for him to work. He did some things on the side, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got a friend that needs that very skill right there. Let me introduce you to. And I brought value to him, so when he saw me, he would bring me back up to the front, jump in the line. Now, inside of this, I think, is knowing what makes you tick, what makes you good at what you do. And I think the key here is knowing yourself. So this is you've heard me say this a number of times, a little internal reflection. Actually, it's going to be a lot of internal reflection, because highly successful people understand themselves, right? And their shortcomings, right? What it is they're really good at and what it is they're not so hot at. And they work on themselves to hone their skills so they can offset their soft spots. And I think one of the great examples here is what I told you some time ago, and I can't remember the exact episode or episodes I've mentioned it in, is obviously you want to hone the skills you're good at. And a lot of people focus on, well, I'm really not so good at this skill over here, so I'm going to spend time at that. Okay, yeah, but you want to spend the bulk of your time on that skill that you're excellent at and keep improving it. Because here's what's going to happen. If you have a skill that you already have, let's say at level 90, 1 to 100, you're already at level 90, and you're focusing on this weakness that's down at level 40, you'll spend 80 hours bringing that 40 to a 41. And now it's had this 1% increase. But if you're focusing on this 90 and it goes from 90 to 91, how much more is it? It's like twice the value in that, right? And you'll probably spend the same amount of time bringing up that 1 percentage point at something that's at level 40 versus level 90. And you'll have twice the impact on something that's already at level 90. So don't ignore your flaws, those areas you have weaknesses. You want to continue to bring those up, but man, make sure you continue to hone on what it is that makes you tick, that drives you forward. And on that same note, what is it that motivates you? And like you've heard me mention before, what's demotivating? So now you can lean into those motivations that keep you moving forward, and you can find ways to avoid or get around or delegate those tasks or projects or exercises that demotivate you. So now you're going to push your motivation forward, and whenever possible, go around those things that would be pulling that motivation back down. And I think the final big cue that you're on the right path in your business, your life, your relationships, your spirituality is you have faith, right? Faith in that is not yet seen. Man, that is a huge sign of success to come. When you think about the future, there should be this positive energy that you're feeling, right? You're like, yeah, I'm going to make it. Even if you have just tripped and stumbled and bumbled and fallen and face plant, you stand up, you dust yourself off. You're like, all right, well, that was no fun. But you look forward and you see, yeah, I can still make it. Now, this faith is usually going to be backed by having, that Vista vision we've talked about, and that goal plan that you have reverse engineered from that Vista vision back into your 5-year goals and your 3-year goals and your 1-year goals and your quarterly goals and your monthly goals and your weekly goals. And those 2 or 3 things you're going to get done this week, all pushing you towards that Vista vision, so that when you do trip, you stumble, you bumble, you fall, you face plant, you stand up, you look back, all right, there's where I made a mistake, and you move forward because you have faith. And if you combine all these together, right, you're taking those consistent actions. You're not looking at money as toxic. You're like, man, it's going to help me fulfill my dreams. You're connecting and bringing value to those right folks, right? You're getting hooked up with those bartenders that can help you jump the line. You've looked inside to see what makes you tick so that you can move forward with motivation and move around those demotivators. That's going to help drive your faith even more. You're going to believe and you're going to act as if you're going to succeed. And then that belief will lead and manifest into actions. And then that action is going to lead into your belief and your ability to act as if you're going to succeed. And that, you feel it, right? It's going to be that awesome cycle, that snake building itself and its strength. Phew. All right. Now, tomorrow in the Facebook group, I'm going to be going live tomorrow morning, and we're going to talk about why you need to be pursuing your dreams despite the fear. And then Friday, right back here on the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast, we're going to talk about building your online influence in 30 minutes a week or less. You're not going to want to miss this one. Now, I know you want to not miss that one. Plus, you want to keep getting all these daily success tips. So make sure you go on down there and smash that subscribe button. Leave us a 5-star rating. And of course, drop us some kind words in the reviews. Those subscribes, ratings, reviews at those podcast platforms out there. Know you're getting that value. So they lift us up a little bit in the rankings so that we can reach more driven entrepreneurs just like you. So please take a moment, show the love, and help spread the word. And like I mentioned, we're going to be doing these Tuesday and Thursday episodes inside the Facebook group. So you're going to come over and join us in the Facebook group. There'll be a link right down there in the show notes, or you can go to facebook.com and, in the search bar, type Dark Horse Tribe, and that should take you right there. Either way, I look forward to meeting you in the group. All right, you get out there. You run your race. You get your results. Come on to the Facebook group and let me hear all about them. Or drop them into the reviews in the podcast platform that you're using right now, and I will read it. Until next time, think successfully and take action.
Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
And you know this!
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.